My wife cheated with her therapist, until I broke into their hotel. Reddit cheating stories. I always thought betrayal was something that happened to other people, tragic stories you'd read online, shaking your head, grateful it wasn't your life. But let me tell you, the moment I discovered my wife's affair with her therapist, my world didn't just crumble, it detonated. And the worst part, it wasn't with a stranger or even a coworker, it was with the man she claimed was helping her heal. My name's Daniel, I'm 37, and for most of my marriage, I believed I was a good husband. I worked long hours in IT, not glamorous, but steady. My wife, Claire, was everything to me. She was smart, beautiful, but also a little distant. She carried a lot of emotional baggage from her childhood, which made her sensitive and prone to anxiety. I always tried to be patient, but eventually, she said she needed professional help. That's when she started seeing Drive. Mitchell, her therapist. At first, I thought it was great. I encouraged her. She came home talking about breakthroughs and how much lighter she felt after their sessions. But as the months went on, things started to change. She grew colder with me, snapping at small things, brushing off intimacy, and most disturbingly, she kept bringing up how much Drive. Mitchell understood her. I brushed it off. After all, he was her therapist, wasn't that his job? But then came the lies. She started extending her sessions. First an hour late, then 2. She claimed he recommended extra time for deep work. Insurance didn't cover those hours, she said, but somehow it was worth it. My gut told me something was off, but my heart didn't want to believe it. The first real crack came one Friday night. She told me she was going to a weekend therapy retreat with a group of patients. She left with a small suitcase, kissed me on the cheek, and drove off. Something in her eyes gave her away. It wasn't tenderness, it was guilt. That night, I couldn't sleep. I checked her iPad, which she usually left at home. She had forgotten to sign out of her email. That's when I saw them, dozens of messages between her and Dr. Mitchell. They weren't clinical. They weren't professional. They were filled with affection, hidden jokes, and worse, plans to meet at a hotel. My heart stopped. My wife wasn't just confiding in her therapist. She was sleeping with him. The rage inside me was volcanic, but I forced myself to stay calm. Instead of confronting her right away, I made a plan. If she was lying about a therapy retreat, I needed proof. That was the only way I could face her, and maybe even expose him for the predator he was. I tracked her location through our shared phone plan. Sure enough, she wasn't at a retreat. She was checked into a luxury hotel downtown. I stared at the screen, trembling with adrenaline. My wife was in that hotel room with her therapist at that very moment. And that's when I did something reckless. I drove down there. The drive was a blur. My mind replayed every moment of our marriage, our vows, our laughter, the times she promised she'd always love me. By the time I pulled up to the hotel, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the wheel. But I was determined. I had to see it with my own eyes. I walked through the lobby, trying to look calm. My heart hammered against my ribs. I took the elevator to the floor I'd seen on her email confirmations. Outside their room, I stood frozen for a long moment, listening. I could hear faint laughter inside. His voice, her voice, together. Something snapped in me. I pulled out the emergency credit card we shared, slid it against the lock, and, God help me, the door clicked open. The scene burned into my memory forever. Claire was sitting on the bed, laughing in nothing but a robe, a glass of wine in her hand. Dr. Mitchell was beside her, shirt unbuttoned, his hand resting on her leg. When they saw me, their faces drained of color like ghosts caught in daylight. The room fell into silence. What the hell is this? My voice cracked, but it was loud enough to make them flinch. Claire stammered. Daniel, this isn't what it looks like. Don't. I roared, pointing at the both of them. Don't you dare insult me with that line. I've seen the emails. I know everything. Dr. Mitchell, the coward, stood up, trying to compose himself like he was still in control. Daniel, listen, I think we should all calm down. Claire came to me vulnerable, and these things sometimes. I cut him off, shaking with fury. You were her therapist. She trusted you to help her, not exploit her. Claire broke down crying, burying her face in her hands. But I couldn't even look at her. The betrayal was suffocating. Everything I'd sacrificed for her, every moment I'd been patient, every promise we'd made, it was all shattered. Security eventually came. I didn't hit him, though every bone in my body screamed too. I walked out of that hotel room a different man than the one who entered. The next weeks were hell. Claire begged me to forgive her. She claimed she didn't know how it started, that she was lost and confused, that Dr. Mitchell took advantage of her. Maybe part of that was true. But I couldn't see her the same way anymore. Trust, once broken like that, doesn't come back. I filed for divorce. But I didn't stop there. I sent copies of those emails to the state licensing board. Dr. Mitchell lost his practice. His career, gone, because he chose to betray his oath and cross a line with my wife. It took months, therapy of my own, and nights of hollow loneliness to finally breathe again. But slowly, I started rebuilding. I found strength I never knew I had. And I realized something powerful. Betrayal doesn't define you. It breaks you, yes, but it also forces you to rise stronger than before. Claire's choices destroyed our marriage, but they didn't destroy me. If anything, they reminded me that I deserved someone who would cherish me, not someone who used my patience as an excuse to betray me. So here's my message to anyone listening. If you're in a relationship where trust is gone, don't waste years waiting for it to come back. You deserve love that doesn't need excuses, honesty that doesn't require detective work, and respect that doesn't vanish behind closed hotel doors. Because in the end, walking away from betrayal isn't weakness. It's the strongest thing you can do.